Hi, Marky. Marky. Yeah, I'll be seeing you in just a little bit, but I wanted to share this with you quickly first. So I love this idea for your digital artifact. I think it's very cool, very like thoughtfully and interestingly meta. Um, so I'm recording this audio feedback to offer some thoughts on how you go about this as you're finishing it up later today or this weekend. Um, okay, so first off, just generally, you should definitely check out this RSA video short by Kathy O'Neill on what algorithms are. It might be a really cool thing to try to embed in your post in some way. And so if you just Google, it's on YouTube. If you just look up RSA short Kathy O'Neill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of walk through here and offer some thoughts along the way. And I think the idea, just first off, like I said, I think the idea of creating a post that helps users, especially small businesses, navigate and negotiate Instagram's new algorithms is a great idea. I think it's super cool. And I think this thing that you've noticed is really important, and I'm wondering how you're going to communicate that clearly and fairly simply how these posts, these new algorithms are working. So like what sources will you point people to if they want to know more, or how will you convey the information simply and engagingly? I think that'll be important to keep in mind. I totally agree with the dilemma. In fact, the same problem as the problem one has. I have anyways on Facebook is it's virtually impossible to see anything new. It's frustrating. So I'm with you, and I think it's a great idea. I think this is an interesting point that a lot of people may not, in fact, even know that they have been changed, that the algorithms that drive what you see on Instagram have changed. And so sort of spreading awareness as a first goal makes a lot of sense. And I think as you're doing that, you probably want to be thinking about, like I said, what is the exact, like, factually correct information, and where can people get that? How can you present it in a way that's simultaneously clear, but also does justice to whatever the description is of how the new algorithm works? And here, when you say that your audience is specifically stores who operate using algorithm, one of the things I wonder is how are you going to make sure that you're reaching stores most effectively? In other words, you reach your own followers, but what can you, and you can hashtag and do other things like you said, but what can you do to make sure that your post really is targeted towards people who have Instagram businesses in particular? How can you access that audience? And I think you're absolutely right here that, in fact, like the kind of playful irony about of making an Instagram post about Instagram algorithms is something you should probably think about. Is there a way for you to mobilize that irony itself in your post? Um, and I think this idea of putting the same information both into a post and a story is pretty cool. And it'll be pretty cool to see how those circulate differently and kind of track that for your own purposes. I think it's very interesting, cool idea, and I look forward to seeing how that works out, actually. Uh, and then sort of, I guess, finally, this set of questions: who sees certain posts? Why are posts lost to some users, not to others? How can I better suit my posts to work against this algorithm? How can small businesses who operate out of Instagram do the same? I think you're setting the bar pretty high. I mean, I think it's a great bar, and I think these are great goals. I totally support you in pursuing those, obviously. But also at the same time, I want to sort of, I want to suggest that there are a lot of like factors militating against that, and most importantly probably is Instagram doesn't ultimately change its algorithms to serve its users, right? It changes them to serve its profit model. Same as actually I talked about in my Medium post with regard to Google Calendar. It's the same basic principle, right? They have to keep users, but they also want to maximize their profit. And so they need to provide something sufficiently useful for users to keep using it, but also make whatever changes are most profitable for them, even if those changes degrade user experiences in certain ways. And so I think like attending to that tension and attending to these questions and sort of raising these as things that you are urging other people to care about and think about consciously and attend to and negotiate might itself be quite an achievement. At any rate, I think it's a great project, and I look forward to seeing it soon. All right. Thanks. Bye.